long years.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Anytime that I run into somebody, it must be a victory lap.
You know, the cliche thing, but I truly do mean this, and everybody in our locker room does mean it. We're not satisfied. We expected to be here. You know, we're excited to have the chance to be in the playoffs.
I had a beef in you bombs, you can't even pay me enough to react.
Sean in North Carolina. What's up, Sean?
Adam Gase, he's going to be out of a job tomorrow. He thought he was hurting Jarvis sending him to Cleveland.
I heard
going to
that.
the playoffs, baby. Here we go, Rowdy. Here we go.
Sometimes we try, but I guess you know now.
Good Monday morning. Simply put, what's old is new again, or what's new is old again. When I flip through Netflix and Disney Plus and HBO Max and Hulu, I see Cobra Kai, Karate Kid's back. Yes. I see Saved by the Bell's got a reboot. What's old is new again, and that's where I want to start with the Browns. It's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance, with all of our guests joining us proudly on the Goodyear Hotline.
Wait, Keyshawn, you know about Cobra Kai yet, Key?
Good. Cobra Kai, Key, Ralph Macchio, all the old school people are back in it. The Karate Kid.
I as a kid, Karate Kid, but that's not my everyday go-to.
It's getting great reviews, Jay. It's getting great reviews.
Season 3, Zubin, let's go.
No doubt, Jay.
What did you do, Jay? You watched a lot of that up in Maine?
No, I watched it when I got home, Keyshawn.
But here's the deal. What's old is new, whether it's the Karate Kid, whether it's anything. The Browns are the same deal. So the Browns are back in the playoffs for the first time since 2002. Stop me if you've heard it before. It's the NFL's longest playoff drought. It comes to an end. It only seems apropos, by the way, that Ian Eagle said this on the broadcast yesterday. He was a CBS broadcaster calling the game. He's like, nothing comes easy for the Browns. You snap the longest playoff streak in week 17 of the season, and it goes down to the fourth quarter. It couldn't go any further for the Browns, and they get it done. But get this, fellas. They will, of course, play the Steelers on Wild Card Weekend, or what the NFL is calling Super Wild Card Weekend. That game will be next Sunday night. I'll have more on that in a second. But this also seems what's old is new again. The last time the Browns were in the playoffs, in the wild card round in 2002, they played the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers won the game 36-33. Quick trivia time for Key. Can you name, because this is actually pre-Roethlisberger, so long ago, pre-Big Ben, can you name the quarterback in either team for Cleveland or Pittsburgh that day in 2002, the Browns' last playoff game?
In 2002.
For the Steelers and the Browns. And by the way, the Browns quarterback in that game
Oh,
threw for 400.
Tim Couch would be the quarterback in Cleveland.
Not Tim Couch.
No?
This quarterback threw for 469 yards in a playoff game, and I would guess 95% of the audience has never heard of him.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know who it is in Cleveland, and then I would only – who would be Tommy Maddox?
Tommy Maddox is correct.
Tommy Maddox would be Pittsburgh, and in Cleveland?
Pittsburgh scored 22 points in the fourth quarter to rally from 10 down to win. We'll see what happens next Sunday night.
It's not Tim Couch.
Now Tim Couch.
I don't know then. You got
Kelly Holcomb. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
469 yards. Jay, I want to ask you this. This is just my thoughts. So there's 6 games. It's Super Wild Card Weekend. 3 Saturday, 3 on Sunday, including the one on ABC and ESPN between the Ravens and the Titans. That'll start the Sunday triple header. Sunday Night Football has been the number one show on TV for at least 10 straight years. And there's something to be said here, Jay. I understand the team they're facing has a few fans and they have a global fan base. But the fact that the NFL has said, we could put Tom Brady on Sunday night, but we're going to put him on Saturday night. We could put Russell Wilson on Sunday night, but we're going to put him on Saturday afternoon. We could put Drew Brees on Sunday night, but we're going to put him on late Sunday afternoon, which will also garner tens of millions of viewers. Jay, the NFL believes that the number one show in television that garners the most eyeballs in prime time and has for a decade straight, the Cleveland Browns belong in that spot.
Brilliant. And I'll say this. I think they're one of the most polarizing, if not the most polarizing team in the NFL. Obviously, Baker Mayfield, people love to go against him. Well, how many commercials is he going to do? And watching him last night run for that first down just to close out the game solidified it for me. I've known Baker for a long time. I like seeing him win. I know people don't always agree with how he goes about doing that or some of the things he says, but the kid's a competitor. In a year where they don't have OBJ, where Nick Chubb has had injuries, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb have come back together. They played well. Yes, was it a tight game against Mason Rudolph? Yes. Was that the way that you would like to see the Browns get into the playoffs? Probably not. But still, look, after that game against the Jets, I didn't know what the hell to expect. I didn't know what I was going to see, Zubin. So the fact that they were able to win that game, as Key would always say, look, you just win the game you're supposed to win. And now it sets it up for a team with the Steelers that finished 1-4. They didn't play a lot of their starters down the stretch in that game against Cleveland, not having, obviously, Ben Roethlisberger, Maurice Pouncey, TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, all these guys not play. It sets up for a colossal matchup. And I still do believe that the Browns have a legitimate chance to win that game. I know Pittsburgh will be the favorite, but just with the weapons that the Browns have, they have a legitimate chance to win that game.
I think that when you look at Cleveland, they've now played Pittsburgh twice in the regular season. They'll see them in the wild card game coming up this weekend. When you look at that, you've now got to look at what the mistakes were that you made and what were the positive things that came from those mistakes. You fixed that. And I think Cleveland will have an opportunity to go into Pittsburgh and win that football game. Mason Rudolph had Pittsburgh right there in the end. 2-point conversion ties the game up. They go ahead. They don't get it. Cleveland wins the game, which is a plus. A lot of people didn't think Cleveland would be in this position to even get to the playoffs, especially how the season started with the shellacking of the Baltimore Ravens handed them. But Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski, they figured out the offense without OBJ in there. They knew that they had something special in the running game. The running game allowed Baker Mayfield to be the quarterback that he should be in the National Football League. He does not have to be that quarterback at Oklahoma where he's throwing the ball 40 times a game. But when you're a guy like Baker, you keep him under 35 attempts, that's a plus. That means that he'll be somewhere in that 60 percentile, 240, 250 yards, a touchdown. That's all you need out of him. And lean heavy on your running game. Remember what I've always said. They have an offense that's portable. No matter what the weather is, they're going to be fine because they got two studs at the running back position in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And if the defense can come to the party and start to play better, then I think as you look at their secondary, then you face Big Ben, who's coming off a bye of his own with the rest. You neutralize Juju Smith-Schuster and Claypool, and you force them to have to figure out how to run the ball because Pittsburgh can't run the football. And that's how you win that football game up in Pittsburgh this weekend to advance to the second round.
I want to hear from Kevin Stefanski now, the Browns' first-year head coach. As Key said, they started the Stefanski era with the 38-6 loss to the Ravens. Everybody was like, same old Browns. And then the first time they faced the Steelers, they got shellacked 38-7. And then as Jay mentioned, they lost to the Jets. But despite it all, they rallied. And now for the second time in 7 days in a different locale, albeit, they will face the Steelers and the stakes will be a little bit higher. By the way, nice burying of the hatchet for Mason Rudolph and Myles Garrett and putting that whole situation behind them. They did that yesterday. Kevin Stefanski reflecting on all of that. That's a lot for a first-year head coach.
I'm very happy for Northeast Ohio, for Browns fans all over the world. They're not far from our minds when we're doing this thing. So the 12,000 strong, they got to see it live. There are many people around the country and the world watching, and we feel their support. So happy for them. And again, we're in the dance, but we feel like we got a lot of work to do this week, and we want to keep this thing going.
And this is Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin coming to you live from above the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17. Jay, the last time we were together back in 2020, again, a word I said I would never utter again since it was 2020, but just to utter it, you said they had Super Bowl aspirations. You kind of mentioned how short-handed Pittsburgh was yesterday, so who knows what you can really take from that game. But how do you feel now that the matchup is set? They are the 6th seed. As Key said, the portability is going to have to be there because they're not going to be playing any playoff games, unlikely, in Cleveland moving forward. Do you still kind of look at the Browns the way you did late last year as an outside shot to get to the Super Bowl?
Well, the thing that's always concerned me about the Browns is just I was always wondering, Zubin, when would they brown it, right? And Key and I have gotten into these arguments where Key would say, well, they're playing for something, but they browned it against the Jets. So that is a little bit somewhat concerning to me. And also the way they did beat the Steelers without all their players being there is a little bit concerning going into it. Now, look, I think this team is a team that can rise to the occasion because they have the talent. I think they need to be driven the right way and not feel like, hey, we're supposed to beat these teams. When they're an underdog, I think they play better. But I did walk away yesterday just confirming that Kevin Stefanski is the coach of the year in the NFL. The way he's handled this whole season, everything happening with OBJ, everything happening with Baker Mayfield, the injuries that they've had, Myles Garrett having COVID, the questions on defense. He's just been first class all the way through, and he's changed the culture of this team foundationally.
Still to come, great points, and I agree with everything that you said there. Still to come, one ESPN analyst who will join us next used the word mockery, straight mockery, when Jalen Hurts left the game last night and Nate Sudfeld came in, and he was hot on Twitter. He will join us next. Man. Hot on Twitter, hot on social media. Beginning tomorrow, Tuesday, January 5th, Mike Greenberg begins his show, Greeny, immediately following